All right, what is up, everyone, and welcome to the next episode. Da 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 da. Little Dr. Dre, but next episode of the Together Achieving Greatness Show. I'm your host. Oh snap! Good start there. I'm gonna put it on the blooper reel. Just drop a marker right on the floor. But next episode of the Together Achieving Greatness Show. I am your host, Trevor Gutting, owner, lead coach here at Tag Performance and Nutrition, where we help former athletes, and just regular Joes and Jills turn their life around, and help them unleash greatness in their life through training, through nutrition, through sleep, and just building overall healthier habits that they can take with them for the rest of their life, because it is not a short-term thing. It should be something you want to do for the rest of your life. And before we get started, if you are liking the videos, make sure you click the little thumb below, like my video, also subscribe below. And if you are watching live or you're checking it on the replay, if you have any questions or anything going on through any of the process of the video, during the video at all, make sure you comment below, or you can send me a direct email to trevor@tagpn.com. But let's jump right in to this episode, and I want to cover a simpler way or simple equation to get into and figure out your calories and your macros for the day or for the daily intake, because there's so many different equations out there, Miffler, St. Joe, and all these other calories or equations you can get into, but they all have a bunch of random numbers, and some of them are in kilograms and things like that, and it's like, what's right? What do I really need to go through all that work? And the answer is no, you don't. I think calorie tracking is important because it helps you figure out and see how much food you're putting in your body, what a certain amount of food is, and and make you realize, just give you a better idea on what you're actually eating and how much you're actually eating. So with this, I got three simpler equations to figure out your calories depending on your goal. And again, these are just that. They are just starting points. They're a good way to figure out kind of where you want to start, but you're going to have to adjust and play around a little trial and error as you go. Maybe the fat loss one, you're losing too much fat, or the muscle building one, you're adding too much muscle. And it's important to adjust because we're all so different. You got to take into account your activity level, your what you're doing, your NEAT, what you're doing when you're not exercise or your non-exercise activity, that type of thing. You need to look at your training age, your actual age, your gender, your genetics. All these different things play a role into our unique, our bodies. We're all different, like I said. What works for someone might not work for someone else, the exact same thing. And that's where you got to play around, because again, these are just starting points, good starting points, but trial and error, test them out for a couple weeks and see where you're at, and then go from there, adjust accordingly. But again, we'll give you some starting points. Again, a lot simpler than just a lot of those online calorie count equations that you'll see. So we'll start off with our maintenance. So we will just take our body weight in pounds, because we are here in America. I get annoyed when I see the metric stuff, the kilograms and stuff, and conversions. I don't like math, so we'll keep our math as simple as possible. So our body weight in pounds times 15 is a good starting point to figure out our maintenance, which is staying the same. Our weight is staying the same. We should all have maintenance phases. You can't always be cutting weight all the time. That's just going to mess up your metabolism, script your hormones, and no one needs that. Been there, done that. It's not fun. So body weight times 15, that will give us our maintenance. All right, then if we want to do fat loss, let's go body weight times 12. You could do a 12 to 13, 12 to 14. Again, that's a starting point, but this is a good starting point. Again, adjust, trial and error, test it out. Again, a good rate is probably 0.25 to a pound per week that you're losing, because if you're losing more than that, it's probably a lot of muscle, or you're just severely overweight, but we want to maintain as much muscle as possible while we're cutting and make sure that most of that weight we're losing is fat, body fat. So body weight times 12, that will give us our starting fat loss calories. And then for muscle building, I like to go body weight times 17 to 18. Again, this could be a range anywhere above 15, but good starting point 17 to 18. Adjust, you can even go higher if needed. If you're super active like myself, it takes a lot of calories to get to where you're actually gaining a consistent, again, a good rate of for muscle building is 0.25 to 5, depending on, again, your training age. If you're a newbie, you can probably gain muscle a lot faster than someone like me who's been training for 15 plus years. So it takes a lot more. And again, if we're gaining any higher than that, a lot of times it's just going to be adding more body fat than needed. And you are going to add body fat if you're adding lean mass, but we want to minimize that. Just like with fat loss, we want to minimize our muscle loss. So those are 3 equations. These equations will give you your starting calories. So now let's get into an actual example. Let's do a fat loss phase for a 200-pound person. So, I guess I can get rid of all of it. Thrilling TV here, thrilling video watching me erase. Maybe I'll edit it and make it fast forward or not. We'll see. With my nice eraser too, a Kleenex. We go high quality here. So what did I say? We're gonna do a 200-pound man or woman, 200-pound person who wants to get leaner, lose some body fat. So we're gonna go times 12. That will give us our calories. So 2,400 calories. Notice this isn't 1,000 calories, 1,200 calories. This is a good solid amount of calories. Especially if you're eating real food, real quality food, you can fill yourself up with that. So we got our total calories there. Now we are going to figure out our protein first. Protein is going to help keep us satiated, help us build and maintain muscle, and repair and rebuild our bodies, because protein is an essential nutrient. You do need protein to survive. When I start working with people, one of the first things we usually do is up their protein, no matter what their goal is, because most people do not eat near enough protein, especially if you are active, you are training, you are exercising every day. You need a lot of protein. So a good starting point is to figure out your protein is body weight. Get this, times 1. Super hard there. I'm not good at math, but even I can figure out that. So if we take our body weight, again, this is just a good start. If you are more overweight, you probably don't need to eat. If you're 300 pounds and you want to get down to 250 or 200 pounds, you probably don't need 300 grams of protein necessarily, because that's a lot of protein. And especially if you haven't been eating that much, that's going to be tough to do, especially if you're eating real food all the time. So you can do your goal body weight. You can plug that in here. So if you're 300 pounds, you want to get to 250, plug in 250 as your body weight times 1 again still. Or you can do your lean body mass if you know that, times 1. But to make it simpler, let's just stick with our body weight times 1. So we got a 200-pound person. 200 pound times 1 equals 200 grams of protein. All right, now to fat. Next we figure out fat, and then we leave the carbs for last. So fat, I like to have people go, fats, I don't like necessarily super low fat. I don't like necessarily super high fat, somewhere in the middle, somewhere that's going to, fats affect your hormones. Fats are essential for our bodies to thrive. We need them to live, whereas carbs are not essential to live, but they are essential to thrive and live optimally. So where were we? Fats. So we're going to take our body weight times 0.5 or divide by 2 is our good starting point. So we'll take 200 times 0.5 equals 100 grams of fat. Again, play around with this. If you don't like that much fat, you can lower it a little bit. Add more carbs, things like that. Again, you got to adjust. These are just rough starting points, good ways to get started, to figure it out. Then you test them out, trial and error, figure out what's working for you, what's not working for you. Look at your biofeedback, your things like your sleep, your mood, your attitude, your appetite, your cravings, all these different things that play a role, and adjust accordingly and figure out what's working best for you. So again, we just did these to figure out our proteins and our fats, but we got them in grams. We need to figure out, because we got our calories at 2,400, we need to figure out our calories, because the rest, carbs, are going to equal the rest of your calories. So you get to use the rest of your calories for your carbs. So we don't need that low carb stuff. So if we figure this out, so again, I guess maybe I haven't mentioned it, but to figure out your calories, think a gram of protein is 4 calories. A gram of carbs is 4 calories. Fats are more calorically dense. Fats are 1 gram of fat is approximately 9 calories. So again, we can take that, so we can go, we'll get rid of these for right now. So we'll go 200 times 4, because that's, to get this to calories, 200 grams of calories. So we'll have 800 calories of protein, and times 9 equals 900 grams of, or 900 calories of fats. So that together is what, 1,700? So we have 1,700 calories between those two. So now to get our carbs, 2,400 minus 1,700. That will give us what, 700 calories, or yeah, 700 calories of carbs. So then we got our calories. Now to figure out our grams, what you can actually measure and track, divide this by 4, and what's that equal? 175, I believe. 100, that's supposed to be a 5. Again, I think I would be good at writing on a whiteboard with all the teaching I've been doing. 175 grams of carbs. So carbs equals 175 grams. As you can see, it's a pretty good amount of carbs for a fat loss phase. So that gives us our protein check, our carbs check, or our fats check, and then our protein goal. And again, those are just starting points, just place to start with. Again, trial and error, figure it out, test it out for a couple weeks, see where you're at. If you're gaining too much or losing too much, in this case with the fat loss, again, keep it, a good goal is 0.5 to a pound a week is a good goal. Then you're probably losing mostly fat. So again, the nice part about figuring all this out, to figure out if we want to go to a maintenance or a muscle building phase, we can keep these all the same. These proteins, the protein equation, the carb equation, and the fat equation. Carbs are just going to go up. If you're going to muscle building, the only thing that would change would be this. So if we went to muscle building, that'd be 200 times 18. And we still do 200 times 1 for our protein, 200 times 1 for our fats, and the rest are going to be carbs. The carbs are going to go up. And again, you can adjust, especially the fats a little bit if you need less of that or more of that. What kind of you prefer, what you can stick with, what you can be consistent with. Again, these are just rough goals, rough starting points. A good place to start, but they're not like written in stone, like this is going to get you results. You have to do the work, and you have to ultimately be consistent with it. Find what works for you with the numbers, and more so with the foods that you like, the foods that work for you. and find what you can consistently eat, consistently get good results for, and you don't get bored with it. And you're not gonna, these ways, you're not restricting yourself so much. Don't eliminate everything. It allows you to work towards that 80-20 rule. But these are just some simpler equations to help you get and achieve your goals and help you make tracking your calories and your macros a lot easier. So you can take these numbers, use a spreadsheet, use a notebook, whatever you need, plug them into MyFitnessPal or some other app that helps you track. But knowing these can help you track and see where you're at, what's working for you, and how much food you're actually eating a day. That's one of the best things about tracking, is just seeing how much food you're actually eating and what you need to eat, how much food you need to eat to build muscle, to lose fat, or to stay in maintenance. So if you guys have any questions on any of this, hopefully I did a decent job of explaining it, making it simpler for you, so you're not having to add 30 different equations together to figure it out. But again, if you do have questions or any comments, comment below the video if you're watching live, or if you're checking out the replay, let me know below what your questions is, wherever below is, somewhere down there. Again, make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel so you can get more videos like this and help you unleash greatness. Again, any other questions, guys, feel free to reach out to me at my email, trevor@tagpn.com. That is TAGPN.com, and I will get back to you. So thanks for checking it out today.